शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। कठोपनिषद अध्याय 2 वल्ली 3 मंत्र 11। तां योगमिति मन्यन्ते स्थिरामिन्द्रियधारणाम् अप्रमत्तस्तदा भवति योगो हि प्रभवाप्ययौ। So this is with reference to the previous mantra. यदा पंचावतिष्ठन्ते ज्ञानानि मनसा सह बुद्धिश्च न विचेष्टति तमाहुः परमां गतिम्। So tamahuh paramam gati. So the paramagati described in the previous mantra is called yoga. Tam yogam iti manyante. Yoga is the goal. The spiritual maturity in terms of assimilation of knowledge that a mumukshu is expected to arrive at is called yoga. It is called yoga because of two reasons. One, yuja samadhau dhatu. Samadhi, it is samadhi. Sahaja samadhi, where one is focused in the Atmajnana. The Atmajnana is well assimilated. In that sense, focused. Therefore, it is called yoga. युज समाधौ धातु. Another derivation of yoga, it is found in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 also. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanyitam. It is viyoga. Viyoga means separation, detachment, disconnect. When the jnana is well entrenched in the mind, one is free from dukkha, free from association with the dukkha. It is viyoga. Viyoga means separation. Yoga means union. Sambandha. Yujir yoge dhatu. Yoga means sambandha, connection, association. Viyoga means dissociation. In fact, it is not association, it is dissociation. Dissociation from dukkha sanyoga. Dukkha sanyoga viyogam. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanyitam. Bhagavad Gita chapter 6. It is viyoga, it is separation, disconnection, dissociation. Then why it is called yoga? Then Bhashyakara says, there is a particular type of lakshana called viparita lakshana. We have seen various lakshanas, jahal lakshana, ajahal lakshana, etc. One type of jahal lakshana is viparita lakshana. The word is something, the word directly means something, but you take the opposite meaning as the lakshyartha. It is called viparita lakshana. Taking the opposite meaning as the meaning of the word. It is there in the world. For example, Pacific Ocean. What is Pacific? Pacific signifies peace. It is a peaceful ocean. But in reality, there is no peace in Pacific Ocean. It is the most restless ocean in the world. So it is viparita lakshana. Pacific means unpacific. Viparita lakshana. Then Mangalavara. Tuesday is called Mangalavara. But generally it is considered amangala for many things. People don't start things on Tuesday. It is amangala. Being amangala, it is called mangala. It is another viparita lakshana or virodha lakshana. Similarly, Though it is viyoga, dissociation, it is called yoga by viparita lakshana. So, you can derive the word yoga from both the roots. Yujir yoge dhatu and yuja samadhau dhatu. If you are deriving from yuja samadhau dhatu, then it means focus, concentration. Samadhi, sahaja samadhi, where you spontaneously abide in Atmajnana. If it is yujir yoge dhatu, then it is viparita lakshana, viyoga, dissociation from samsara, dissociation from dukkha, which is rather the phala of the yoga. So it leads to dissociation of dukkha. Therefore, it is called yoga. So, tam yogam iti manyante. Tam gatim, that gati, which is described in the previous mantra. Panditaha, the panditas, yogam iti manyante. They call it yoga. They understand it as yoga. And what is it characterized by? Sthiram indriyadharanam. It is sthira indriyadharana. It is characterized by steady restraint of senses. Sthiram, steady restraint of senses. Indriya dharana. Dharana means restraint. Steady restraint. Disciplining of the senses. Indriya includes manas and buddhi also. All faculties of Sukshma Sharira are steadily restrained. They are free from viparita bhavana. They act in accordance with the jnana and not against jnana. Apramattastada bhavati. Bhashyakara explains this line in two ways. Tada. Tada can be understood as the yoga itself, yoga avastha itself. Yoga avastha means when one has attained the yoga, after adequate sadhana, adequate nididhyasanam, he has accomplished the yoga. At that stage of spiritual maturity, apramattaha bhavati. He remains apramatta. He cannot do pramada at that state. When he is adequately mature, then he does not do pramada. He doesn't make mistakes. Meaning, he does not lose sight of jnana. Because of whatsoever reason. Because of any reason, he does not slip down from the jnana. Because the jnana is quite assimilated. So, even if he is doing vyavahara, he does not lose jnana. No chance of slipping down from the jnana. So, therefore, moksha is guaranteed for him. But before that state, before accomplishing that kind of a spiritual maturity, he has to be careful. Therefore, second interpretation is a vidhi, a suggestion, an upadesha to a mumukshu. In that explanation, bhavati should be understood as bhavet, vidhi. Tada apramattaha bhavatu or bhavet. Tada means not during yoga, but before accomplishing yoga, before accomplishing the state of spiritual maturity, when he is still making effort to assimilate the Atmajnana. Tada, then apramattaha bhavet. Then he should remain apramatta. Means he should be careful. He should avoid pramada. He should be careful in such a way that he avoids the spiritual downfall. He should keep a watch on his mind and senses, their behavior. Is he losing sight of knowledge? Is he allowing his mind and senses to act in contrast with the Atmajnana? And avoid all jnana virodhi activities of the mind and senses. It is apramada. He should not allow pramada to happen. Why he should be careful? Yogo hi prabhavapyayau. He means yasmat, because yogaha, the steadiness in Atmajnana, prabhavapyayau, it comes and goes. For a beginner, it keeps coming and going. For a while, one may get established initially. For a while, he will feel, now my mind is focused. I have become a jnani. He feels happy because after a while of Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, when the mind becomes sattvika, then he feels very happy. He is able to abide in the jnana for a while. That is the time when one starts overestimating oneself and declares oneself to be a jnani. Now I have become a jnani. And when we overestimate ourselves, that is when the pramada happens. Now I have become a jnani, so I don't have to meditate. I don't have to attend a class. So then he starts doing whatever he wants. Now I can do whatever I want to do. Then pramada happens. Without his knowledge, his mind and senses deviate from Atmajnana and slowly take him away from Atmajnana. He starts cherishing some other priorities. I have already become a jnani. Now let me do some social activities. Let me become a political activist. Let me do some politics and get some position in an organization. The mind goes there. Now I don't have to work for jnana, so let me work for this. Slowly pramada happens. It creeps in. In Sanat Sujatiyam, Sanat Kumara, Sanat Sujata tells Dhritarashtra, Pramado vai mrityuhu. Pramada is mrityu. Pramada is a death of spiritual pursuit. So after 3 years of Vedanta study, he has allowed pramada. And by means of pramada, he put an end to his spiritual pursuit. Now he is doing something else. Looking for something else. He thought he was an Atmajnani because he did the studies well. At that time he perhaps meditated well also, and he was kind of abiding in the jnana. So some initial success in the spiritual pursuit can lead to overestimation and complacency. Then pramada happens. Therefore, it is very, very important to avoid pramada in the spiritual pursuit. That is why Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam pathastat kavayo vadanti. It is like walking on the edge of a razor. One has to be very careful, watchful. If any small mistake, one can either fall down like a tightrope walking. Any little shaking here and there, the person will lose the balance. And dumb, he is down, and broken leg. Then in this janma he cannot do the tightrope walking. He has to wait for next janma. So, apramattastada bhavati. He yogaha prabhavapyayau. The yoga comes and goes. Here yoga means the initial success. The focus on the Atmajnana. It will come and go. Don't think it has become steady just because you are getting it once in a while. Once in a while you feel it has stabilized in the mind. But it is not necessary that you have fully assimilated it. Therefore, apramattastada bhavet. one should remain apramattaha. One should be careful. That is why constant Shravana helps. Bhagavad Gita. Why we should study Bhagavad Gita? Everything is repetition. Chapter 2, chapter 3, all are repetition. But the repetition is needed so that one keeps alert. One is constantly reminded of the goal. Otherwise, there can be pramada. So, repeated Shravana Avritti, Manana and Manana also, Nididhyasana Avritti. All these are needed to keep one away from pramada, as well as to make effort to assimilate the Atmajnana further. Yogo hi prabhavapyayau. See the bhashya. Tam idrishim avastham yogam iti manyante viyogameva santam. Tam idrishim avastham. Tam refers to idrishim avastham. The avastha of this nature. Avastha should not be understood as a state of mind. Once again I am saying this. It is not like a sushupti avastha. In meditation you are getting an avastha. It is not so. It is a state of, a stage of spiritual maturity. And who has attained this avastha, you have no way of knowing. Only you will know. The other person has no way of knowing. Whether this man has attained this avastha or not, no way of judging the other person. So far, to my knowledge, nobody has discovered a thermometer to measure spiritual growth. You know your spiritual maturity. Yes, I am aware of my true self. Aham Brahmasmi. And I am able to enjoy the result of it. You will know that if you have accomplished it. And then you won't have a doubt also whether I am a Brahmajnani or not. So it is, there is no external mark, no external indication in true terms. There are some indications that may show the possibility, but it is not it is not affirmative. It's not conclusive. One might behave like a Jivan Mukta. One may have certain qualities as described in Bhagavad Gita. Prajahati yada kaman, etc. But even prajahati yada kaman, how can you know? Manogatan, the kama is in the mind. How can you know that? the other person has a desire or not. So don't try to judge others. So whether someone is a Brahmanistha or not, there is no way of knowing. Therefore, this avastha, whether one has accomplished or not, only he will know. And sometimes even he may be deluded. Whether I have accomplished this avastha or not, I will know up to certain extent. But sometimes even I might be deluded. I think I have assimilated jnana, but then there is a crisis. And I am not able to withstand a crisis. Then I will know that my assimilation is not adequate. But until the crisis originates, I may not know myself whether I am a true Brahmajnani or not. The extent of my assimilation, I cannot be fully aware of it. I cannot know its full extent myself. So therefore, we cannot judge others, and we cannot declare ourselves also as Atmajnanis. Instead, even a jnani will try to, abide in the jnana and he will make further effort to grow in terms of jnana. Because sky is the limit. As long as you have the body and mind, you can keep on assimilating. There is nothing called an ideal state. It is not arrived at. So, all this will become clear slowly, what I am trying to say. Idrishim avastham yogam iti manyante. It is known as yoga. Panditaha yogam iti manyante. The jnanis, the wise men, understand it as yoga. And why it is yoga? Vyogam eva santam. Since it is Vyoga, Vyogam eva santam, this avastha, it is Vyoga. Vyoga means Dukkha Sanyoga Vyoga, dissociation from Dukkha. Therefore, Viparita Lakshanaya, Viruddha Lakshanaya, Viruddha Lakshanaya Yogaha Uchyate. Anandagiri says Viruddha Lakshanaya. Sarvanartha Sanyoga Viyoga Lakshana Hi iyam avastha Yoginaha Iyam avastha. This avastha is sarvanartha sanyoga viyoga lakshana. It is characterized by viyoga, dissociation from all anarthas, all undesirables, means samsara. This avastha is characterized by all undesirable emotions which are called samsara. Therefore, it is called yoga. Yoginaha avastha. This avastha of a yogi, of a jnani, he means yasmat, because. Yasmat iyam avastha yoginaha sarvanartha sanyoga viyoga lakshana tasmat viyogameva santam imam avastham panditaha yogam iti manyante. एतस्यां हि अवस्थायां अविद्याध्यारोपणवर्जितः स्वरूपप्रतिष्ठः आत्मा. So how does this avastha make one free from samsara dukkha, samsara anartha? Because when one has attained this state of maturity, one is aware of the Atma as free from all adhyasa, all adhyaropanam. Unlike an ajnani, he does not see the Atma with the adhyasa of anatma. He does not identify with the anatma, the body, mind, etc. Instead, he is awake to the pure nature of the Atma. Etasyam hi avasthayam. Again, he means because. There is hetu madbhava between all the lines. So, sarvanartha sanyoga viyoga lakshana hi iyam avastha. It gave hetu for why it is called yoga. And now this line is giving hetu for sarvanartha sanyoga viyoga. How one accomplishes sarvanartha viyoga in this state. Etasyam hi avasthayam. He means because. Etasyam avasthayam. In this avastha, in this state of maturity, avidyadhyaropana varjitaha. The Atma is free from the adhyaropanam, the superimposition of body, mind, etc., caused by avidya. Therefore, swarupa pratishtha, one is established in one's true nature, one's asamsari nature. Therefore, there is no dukkha sanyoga, no association with dukkha. Sthiram indriyadharanam sthiram achalam indriyadharanam bahyantahkarananam dharanam ityarthaha. Sthiram means achalam, steady, unshakable. Indriyadharanam. Indriya means bahya antahkarananam. See, he takes bahya as well as antahkarana. Means indriya, manas, buddhi, all are included. Dharanam, Dharanam ityarthaha. So, in that state, the indriyas are steadily restrained. Means they are properly disciplined, well disciplined, and they are free from viparita bhavana. The senses, mind, everything resonates with the Atmajnana. Everything works in tandem with the Atmajnana. Apramattaha, pramadavarjitaha, samadhanam prati, nityam, yatnavan, tada, tasmin kale, yadaiva, pravrittayogo bhavatiti, samarthyat, avagamyate, apramattaha means pramadavarjitaha. One should be free from pramada, free from carelessness, free from complacency. Samadhanam prati nityam yatnavan. Bhashyakara explains pramada varjitaha. How one has to be free from carelessness. How one should be free from complacency. Samadhanam prati nityam yatnavan bhavet. One should be constantly and regularly effortful. One should make constant effort for samadhanam, for attaining focus. Focus means assimilation of jnana. One should make a constant effort to assimilate the jnana. Samadhanam literally means concentration, and we should understand it as assimilation of jnana, abidance in jnana. Tada means tasmin kale, at that time. And Bhashyakara says, yada eva pravritta yogo bhavatiti samarthyad avagamyate. So, tada apramattaha bhavati. What is that tada? If we directly see, it appears as though Shruti is talking about the time of yoga, when one has already attained yoga. But when should one be careful? Not after attaining yoga, but before attaining yoga. After attaining yoga, there is no need for telling one should be careful. Then he has already accomplished the goal. But before that, one should be careful. The carefulness is told because of that samarthya, because of the very force of, because of the very implication of enjoining carefulness. One should understand that Shruti is talking about a person who is still making effort to get yoga. So, tasmin kale should be understood as yada eva pravritta yogo bhavati. When he is pravritta yoga, means when he is making effort to attain the yoga. when he is just starting to attain the yoga, still in the process of assimilation. Iti samarthyat avagamyate. This is understood by implication. And Bhashyakara explains the samarthya. When already he has accomplished yoga, there is no chance of pramada at all. Therefore, there is no point in enjoining apramada. Nahi buddhyadi cheshta bhave pramada sambhavah asti tasmat prageva buddhyadi cheshtoparamat apramado vidhiyate. Buddhyadi cheshta bhave. In the absence of buddhyadi cheshta, in the absence of the activities of buddhi etc., means when buddhi etc. are not acting according to their viparita bhavana, when all viparita bhavana has subsided, then pramada sambhavaha na asti. Then there is no possibility of pramada. There is no possibility of downfall. There is no possibility of moving away from spiritual pursuit. Tasmat, therefore, buddhyadi cheshtoparamat prageva. Before buddhyadi cheshtoparama, before viparita bhavana nivritti, apramadaha vidhiyate. Apramada is enjoined. The Shruti commands a person, the Shruti instructs a person to be careful, to avoid pramada, to avoid carelessness, to avoid mistakes out of carelessness. Tasma vidhiyate. This is one interpretation of apramattas tada bhavati, where apramattas tada bhavati, tada is understood as before attaining yoga. And in that case, bhavati should be understood as vidhi, bhavet, vidhiling. So, apramattas tada bhavati is understood as a vidhi now. In another interpretation, apramattas tada bhavati is understood as a statement of fact. Just as a statement of fact, not as a vidhi. Athava yada eva indriyanam sthiradharana tadanim eva nirankusham apramattatvam ityatah abhidhiyate apramattas tada bhavatiti. Athava, or yada eva indriyanam sthiradharana. When the indriyas are steadily restrained, means when yoga has been accomplished. Tadanim eva, only then, nirankusham apramattatvam, the apramada is nirankusha. without any limit. Unconditional apramada means a total. There is no chance of pramada. There is no chance of slipping down. Ityataha, therefore, abhidhiyate. It is not vidhiyate, it is abhidhiyate. It is just a statement of fact. Apramattastada bhavati iti abhidhiyate. So, Shruti is just making a statement of fact. At that time, tada should be understood as during the time of yoga. When one has already accomplished yoga, then he remains apramatta. Then there is no chance of pramada. It is like a dance. When one is learning dance, then there is a chance of making mistakes, wrong steps are possible. But an experienced expert dancer does not go wrong with her steps. Kutaha yogo hi yasmat prabhavapyayau upajanapaya dharmakaha ityarthaha ataha apaya pariharaya apramadah kartavyah ityabhiprayah kutaha. So, this should be connected with the first interpretation. The kutaha should be connected with the first interpretation. One should be careful. One should do apramada. Why? Kutaha. Yogo hi prabhavapyayau. He means yasmat. Because yogaha, the yoga is prabhavapyayau. It has prabhava and apyaya. It has origin and disappearance. It comes and goes. It happens and disappears. Upajanapaya dharmakaha ityarthaha. The yoga consists of upajana and apaya. Upajana, it takes place, arises, and apaya, it goes away, subsides also. Sometimes one may attain the yoga, one may remain focused in Atmajnana, but then after some time, if one is not careful, it may disappear also. Ataha, therefore, apaya pariharaya. In order to avoid apaya, in order to avoid disappearance of yoga, to avoid losing sight of Atmajnana, apramadah kartavyaha. One should do apramada. One should make effort to avoid mistakes. To avoid the mistake, one has to make effort. Ityabhiprayah. This is the intention of the Shruti. And with this statement, Bhashyakara votes for the first interpretation. Apramattas tada bhavet vidhipaksha. He endorses. The Anuvada Paksha, the second view is Anuvada Paksha. Anuvada means just a restatement of fact. It is just a possibility. He does not really mean it. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.